following show is controversial and contains content you may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
It's Tuesday morning. Good morning. How are you today? I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday today, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. Stop the presses. Phil Egan is still here with me in the studio. Phil, Mourinho, the last half hour, he's gone.
Yeah, in the last 15 minutes, Adrian, it's the Christmas present all Manchester United fans wanted. Jose Mourinho has been sacked. I mean, he doesn't want to be there. The players don't want him to be there. The directors don't want him to be there. It made sense. It's going to cost them a lot of money because 18 months into his 3-year contract, they gave him an extra year, which obviously bumped up the value. So he's going to have a nice Christmas. He's been living in a hotel since he took over at Manchester, so he won't have to spend Christmas in a hotel.
Okay, obviously the match against Liverpool on Sunday was the straw that broke the camel's back, or was it coming anyway? It
was coming anyway. I mean, they've been dismal this season. They finished second last season. I don't know how they did, to be honest. I think maybe some of their rivals got distracted by Champions League and knockout competitions, and United were able to finish second. Still 19 points behind Manchester City. But, you know, at this season, United fans will be looking at Liverpool, who are 19 points ahead of them now. We're in the middle of December. Like, that's unforgivable. Manchester City...
Now, he did say the other day that he thought the games in the second half of the table were actually easier, and that they were...
Yeah, he'd say that. But do you know what? They beat Fulham 4-1 a few weeks ago. They were 3-0 up at half-time. A lot of us were actually shocked. We were thinking, when was the last time United had a game won by half-time? Because they just labour to wins, even when they do win. The best football they've played this season, Adrian, is actually when they've gone behind and the players almost just let the shackles off. Because with Mourinho, it's slow, methodical, it's just boring. It's not what Manchester United are about. It's not what Manchester United want. I've often thought in the last few months they'd actually be better off with no manager than Jose Mourinho.
Really?
Because the players would instantly be a lot happier. Everyone just looks miserable, including him. So the players now will be in training today and they'll think that cloud that has been over Old Trafford for the last few months has been lifted. And now let's go and enjoy our football again.
Who will they put in his place as caretaker?
I'd say
caretaker until the end of the season.
Because the problem is the manager that they want, the next manager, the appointment is crucial. They got it wrong with Mourinho. They have to bide their time and get the right man. And there's no harm in putting someone like Michael Carrick, who's part of the coaching staff, won Premier League titles with United. Look, we know United aren't going to win the league. They're struggling to make top four. So just give it to someone like Michael Carrick, get them back on track. And then come May, come June, you get somebody in and you press the reset button and you have to change the way they've been playing for the last few seasons. So
you reckon that come January or even over the Christmas matches that you will see a different United even with just a caretaker manager?
Absolutely. Now, they mightn't win a load of games. Like, they mightn't win every game, but they'll certainly play more attacking football. There'll be a bit more vibrancy to them. There'll be more excitement even at games at Old Trafford. So that itself will just put everyone in great mood, and I guarantee you, any United fans listening that have heard the news, they're all delighted.
All right, Phil Egan, thanks very much indeed. There you go. That's the breaking news in the last half hour. It's on Twitter. Manchester United has announced that Jose Mourinho has left the club. We would like to thank him for his work during this time at Manchester United and wish him success in the future. So that's breaking news coming into us in just the last while. Now, a plane full of children were left heartbroken after a flight from Dublin Airport to Lapland was cancelled at the last minute. UK airline TUI was due to fly from Dublin to Rovaniemi, the capital of Lapland, on Saturday morning. But after boarding the plane and waiting for takeoff, passengers were told that due to technical difficulties, they would not be flying. One of the passengers on board that flight was a lady called Denise. She tweeted So, after sitting on a plane in Dublin on the runway for 2 hours, Tui's day trip to Lapland, a trip of a lifetime, now cancelled. Plane full of heartbroken kids here at Dublin Airport. Denise joins me on the line. Denise, tell us exactly what happened on Saturday morning.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Good, thank you.
It was devastation, I have to say. So basically, it was for anyone going. I think it's a huge investment. You don't enter it lightly. It's a big splash out. My kids are 8 and 12. Personally, I'd always dreamt of going to the magical Lapland. My mum died recently, and I decided to invest the money and give us all one memorable day trip. And didn't tell the kids. Told them there was a special day happening on Saturday. They had no idea. Woke them up at 4:30. Got them dressed in the warm gear. We drove to the airport. They were like, oh my God, where are we going? Didn't tell them until we got down to the check-in gate where it says North Pole on the screen, which is amazing. No. They had pugs dressed up in the Santa gear. They have ladies, all the staff are dressed up in the elf costumes. Fabulous. Everybody going is in the Christmas gear. Real buzz, real excitement. Christmas live in Dublin Airport. So we went out, we boarded the plane. Everybody gobsmacked, full of excitement. Within a few minutes there's a delay, but you're not worried because you've often experienced that. You know what I mean? You're going, here we go. We're all still a bit tired anyway. Then it goes on. Then they start calling kids up to do Christmas carols. We're told there's technical difficulties. Staff were wonderful, I have to say. Can't fault them. And I witnessed a wonderful spirit in everybody on the plane due to the nature of it. People didn't, in other flights when there's delays, people get stroppy, get annoyed with kids or whatever. Everybody was really being kind and patient. Staff couldn't reveal anything. All the children on the plane, I'd say, went up and did a song. They all got colouring kit. Then we were given our breakfast still on Dublin runway. And now I'm going, okay, it's over an hour now. And we probably only had about 3 hours there in a day trip anyway. And I was like, what's going to happen? And I was Googling and saw other people who'd had delays that ended up only getting half an hour out there where they only saw Santa, didn't get to do the markets, the husky rides or anything. And I was kind of going, that'd be disappointing now. If that's all you got. Plus, we've been on the plane nearly 2 hours already and it's a 2.5 or 3.5 hour flight. It's an awful long time for kids to be kept entertained when they've had their food and they're singing. So then after about 2 hours, they just announced we're really sorry. My heart broke. The kids, like my kids had gone when they saw North Pole, they went, this is just like a dream. And then I was going, oh Jesus.
Okay, so this dream that you built up all morning, bringing them to the airport.
I totally hyped it. This was a gift from Granny. This was, I'd really milked it. We have a fairy door and the fairy had brought a lucky scarf for my daughter to wear in the cold on the journey this morning, I won't hype stuff up again. I also, for my own dream of going to Lapland, I discovered it's kind of a very commercial package anyway. It was, they had seated us separately, which I was peeved off with in advance anyway. Of course, I could have gone on and paid extra to reserve seating. I didn't realise it. Wasn't travelling Ryanair. Assumed family day trip at this price, you'd be seated together. But one of us was actually seated 3 or 4 rows ahead. So everything left a bad taste in my mouth about it. And then the other thing is to be warned, every parent on that who had a phone and everything, all the kids were looking for the screens and the devices and they couldn't give them because they needed the battery in case they were getting there to take the photos, So all that was frustration as well amongst the kids. But
after 2 hours of sitting there, the flight was cancelled due to a technical issue. Okay, now...
I mean, I had suspected there might have been something with the weather, but that wasn't it. It was a technical difficulty, they said.
Now,
and then,
I know the kids were disappointed. I know all the kids on the plane were disappointed. Yeah. But if there is a technical issue with the plane, what else can they do?
Oh, no, absolutely. But I'm in my early 40s, and I would say I've never had to get off a plane due to technical difficulties. And what are the chances of it happening on the one that's straight? It's just unfortunate. Look, thank God they didn't discover the technical difficulties in the sky.
That's exactly
what I said to my daughter. She said, I thought this was a lucky scarf. And I said, it was. We could have died in the plane in the sky, which would have been much more tragic. It's just, I'm not angry at anyone. Technical difficulties do happen. It was just a bit surreal. Everybody's stressed. It's the run-up. This was the day out. Everybody on that plane was looking forward to escape, to experience the magic. What are the chances? it's an awful shame.
Okay, I want to just want to read out the statement that TUI issued yesterday, and it says, we would like to apologise to all customers on flight TOM 1652 from Dublin to Rovaniemi, which was cancelled last Saturday due to a technical issue. We've provided a letter to our customers to offer our deepest apologies and to advise that they have the option to rebook an alternative holiday or cancel and receive a full refund. What's your reaction to that statement?
Yeah, this now, I got this letter, and when I was queuing, then you had to get off the plane and queue for the letter. And I was like, oh, Jesus, And they said to me, you booked online, you don't need it. And I said, no, I'll take the letter. So I breathed it on Sunday and just got over it. And then yesterday tackled the phone lines. I had got an email back as if I had cancelled the holiday on my online booking directly. And it said money will be refunded by the 8th of November 2018. Which clearly is an error because that's
already passed,
already passed. It's not in my account. I phoned the number we were given, which said if you booked online and wish to amend, blah, blah, blah. Got through to a guy who had no idea what I was talking about. Then said, oh, you need to email. And I kind of was going, should you not be doing something for me rather than me having to, and can you not clarify this? And he said, no, send an email and you'll hear back in 24 hours. And I've heard nothing. So obviously, I would hope the money will come through very quickly because I know a lot of parents who were trying to comfort the kids. We didn't do it because we were too tired, but we're going, I'll bring you to Blanche, I'll bring you to Dundrum, I'll buy you any. You know what I mean? There was all sorts of, I couldn't say no to my kids for 24 hours to anything, to make it up because you just thought, Jesus, they just did Lapland fashion on them. And I'd say there was a lot of additional expense that day, with people going places and buying the kids stuff to make up for it.
And your kids, did they get over the disappointment? Well, they didn't really have much choice, did they?
Yeah, my son kind of said, I suppose he's 12, he's a bit older, and he said, look, once I heard technical fault, I was afraid we'd go because if there was something wrong. My daughter, I kind of remarked to somebody, I'll never go again. It's left between the season and the whole package thing is just, it turned into commercial rather than magical Lapland Santa trip for me. It turned into two real airport hassles. But when she heard me saying we'll never go again, she looked at me and went, what? And I was like, oh, maybe next year or whatever. I do know other people who've gone recently, did it independently, booked in January, booked their own flights.
Yes, I know people who've done that myself. But I can tell you, it is quite commercial, but I can tell you, I brought my own daughter when she was 4. And it was amazing. And if you, the reason I'm saying that is...
Did you do a package?
Yeah, and maybe think about doing it next year because it is magical. And it was just unfortunate. Stay there for a second, Denise, because Stephen, you were also on that flight.
I was, Jeremy, yeah.
And disappointed, I can imagine.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, devastated.
How old are your kids?
My little girl's 7 and another girl who's 11.
Right.
And we had our nephew as well, he's 6.
Oh no, 7, 11 and 6.
Yeah.
And in terms of, firstly with the kids and I mean, if a technical error is a technical error and there's not much they can do. No,
I understand. I understand that it is a technical error, but you would have thought with such a once in a lifetime experience, and such a special thing that you'd imagine that they would have some sort of a backup plan with likes of Aer Lingus that if something happens and we need to charter one of your planes, or I can't say that that's as easy, probably easier said than done. But
well, I was about to say every flight is a special flight if you're going on.
Oh, of course, I understand that.
Whether it's kids or not.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, what about the statement that TUI issued where they basically said you get a full refund or you can book another holiday? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, well, what can you do? I mean, they did say that they're going to work on behalf of the other people on the plane. They're going to work on behalf of them to try and... I got in touch with them on Sunday, and they said they're going to work on behalf as a group to try and claim back through the EU regulation. I think it's over 2-hour cancellation. It will be €400. Over 3 hours, €600 per person. They're going to... that could take months. It could take another year. You wouldn't know. But I mean, it's just no money can compensate for how the kids were feeling. So in particular, my 11-year-old. I mean, I think it's the last year of the kind of magic for her. So if you know what I mean. So
yeah.
She was absolutely devastated.
Mind you, I can tell you, even next year, she'd still enjoy it. Absolutely, it is a great experience. And what did you end up having to say to them in terms of making it up to them?
Well, My wife has actually gone and booked for this. She's just luckily enough, there's only two seats available for this Saturday. She's going this Saturday and staying overnight with my 11-year-old. We're not saying anything to the 6-year-old or 7-year-old for now. We're going to go again next year, possibly just to make it up to them. But it's just at the cost. I mean,
it is expensive.
Oh, yeah. It's just breaking us, to be honest with you. But it is what it is,
And like I said, it is unfortunate. And as Denise said a second ago, at least they didn't discover the technical error when you were flying all the way to Lapland and have to turn back. That would have been even worse.
No, absolutely. I'd have to agree with Denise. I mean, even my wife had said that, like, thank God we didn't go with a technical error. It's a risk you just can't take. Obviously, we understand that, I think,
Well, I know any parent listening who would love to go to somewhere like Lapland, and like you said, it is expensive and it is something you have to save up very hard for. Can just imagine how devastating it must have been to be sitting on the plane that long and then have to say, sorry kids, we're going home.
Well, this is it, yeah.
All right, we appreciate you both talking to us, Stephen and Denise. Thanks very much. Denise, are you going to go? You're thinking of going next year then, are you?
I think if I do it, I'll do it independently. I'm kind of put off that company, to be honest with you, so I'll look into it. But the magic has gone and I have the fear going again now, maybe it'll be Euro Disney instead, But sure, we'll see. And look, are we all of our health? And that's the main thing, a hard life lesson for the kids, about crap happening.
All right, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed, both of you. There you go. The disappointment, you can just imagine how people feel. You're listening to 98 FM. This is Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. Very first message we got in about Jose Mourinho. Woohoo! Mourinho is gone. I'm delighted, says Dave. There's somebody happy. Our text or WhatsApp number is 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. After the break, we're going to be hearing a nice story from the Cherry Orchard area of Dublin.
98 FM's Dublin Talks
with the Des Kelly Interiors gift voucher for beds, flooring and more.
98 FM.
Yesterday on the programme we heard an annoying but uplifting story at the same time about a woman in her 90s who was in the post office, collected some money in the post office, was heading home just across the road, and she got mugged and robbed of hundreds of euro that she'd just gotten from the post office. But we also heard how the community came together and rallied around and raised money for this elderly woman. Well, here's another uplifting story, whilst at the same time being very annoying. I got a message yesterday saying, and it says, a great Christmas story from Cherry Orchard. The community has rallied around a single mother of 3 whose house was burgled yesterday. And this that would have been Sunday. And her neighbour, Jennifer, joins me on the line. Jennifer, welcome to 98 FM.
Hi, thank you.
Jennifer, tell me what happened to your next door neighbour.
Someone broke into our house. She went to church and came back and realised that the back door was put through, was smashed, and they took stuff from the house. Our kids and all are just absolutely terrified. I actually went down yesterday just to check on her, and the kids they're just lying around, and she said the little 4-year-old is actually up getting sick all night, like so nervous, like it's
really
just heartbreaking. Yeah, it really is. They didn't even want to go to school yesterday, but the mother obviously sent them so they'll take their mind off it. But she's just in an awful state. It really is so sad.
Okay, so the house was broken into while they were at church. Was the place ransacked? Did they rob much stuff?
They robbed a few Christmas stuff, but they also took the oldest one is 11, is Nintendo Switch. Now I don't think he has it very long, but he was heartbroken over it. But what really got to me was, there's like a little joypad with it, and the 4-year-old said to him, well, look, at least he didn't take this so we can try get the rest of it. So I was like, oh no, I have to do something. I have to do something for this lady, but it's absolutely heartbroken. I'm heartbroken for her,
Oh, right.
Because I know if it was me at this time of the year, I don't know what I'd do if it was to happen to me.
Now, I know that the break-in is being investigated by Gardaí, and let's hope, as with the story we told yesterday, that somebody is arrested. But you decided to do something. What have you been doing?
So I seen the post on Facebook, and I just said if people would like to help in any way, like a 5 or a 10 or anything, because I know it is a tight time for anyone, for Christmas. But I'm so overwhelmed by the amount of messages I'm getting for people to help. And the Coliseum Gym actually done a raffle for someone to win a jersey, but they've raised an awful lot as well for this lady. But I just can't believe it. I really can't. I didn't expect it to spread so much, you know what I mean?
It was something I don't know if you mightn't have heard yesterday's story, but a not dissimilar story about an elderly woman being robbed, and how the community of Summerhill came together. What you have found is that when asked, the community of Cherry Orchard just jumped on this.
Yeah. Like she's gotten donations now for ties as well. Like I really can't believe it. So we're holding a little donation thing in Cherry Orchard so people can go and drop anything that they have, anything as well.
Okay, so whereabouts in Cherry Orchard?
It's the actual community centre in Cherry Orchard.
Okay, very
it's
good.
up until 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. If anyone wants to drop in anything at all, anything.
Okay. And how is she now, and how are the kids?
Oh, when I went down yesterday now, they were all just like, they were just lying there, like, and I asked her, are the kids okay? And she was saying, no, they just didn't want to go to school, and she started crying, and she just can't believe it. She just said she's terrified, like, and it's so sad. Like, a new home should be full of joy, not sitting around like that, like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's horrible, it's dreadful. It really is, like.
Oh, right. Well, look, fair play to you, Jennifer, for bothering enough to care. It was only something we were speaking about on the show a couple of weeks ago, about people not caring about their neighbours anymore, and all of that. It's very decent of you to jump on board and to try and help out. So if anybody has any donations that they want to make, they can drop them to the Cherry Orchard Community Centre anytime up to 11 o'clock tomorrow.
11 o'clock, yeah. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's donated. It's just being great. I just can't get over how many people have contacted me in relation to this, like.
All right. Well done, Jennifer. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us on 98 FM.
Thanks very much.
All right, see you. Bye-bye. There you go. Isn't that nice as well? It just shows you. And it is true, and I don't care what anybody says. We talk about working class areas of Dublin, and you wouldn't hear a story like that of a community pulling together from some of the posher areas of Dublin, but you always hear stories of community pulling together in some of the best working class areas of Dublin. And yesterday's story was about Summerhill. Today's story is about Cherry Orchard, and they won't mind me saying it, they are working class areas of Dublin, but it just shows you that there is a community spirit in areas like that, and these people are salt of the earth people. So, well done to everybody involved in that. Now, next, here. There's murder going on. Imagine being the parent of two young girls who are huge Ariana Grande fans. Well, tickets are going on sale this week, just days before Christmas, and they're not cheap. The ticket release date for Ariana Grande's Dublin gig, which is when is it, lads? Next September, is it? Next September, I think. Anyway, they're going on sale this coming Thursday. But people aren't happy because the ticket prices start at €82. Parents and fans alike have been taking to social media disgusted at the timing of the sale of these tickets. And one such parent is Lynn. And Lynn, because of the fact that the tickets are being put on sale this Thursday, just 5 days before Christmas, you found yourself in a situation of having to say no.
Yep. Just no. Just sometimes it's okay to say no to the kids. I explained to Nadine that although she loves Ariana Grande and she'd love to go to the concert, the tickets are on sale 5 days before Christmas. We still have Christmas shopping to do. I get paid Friday, which she knows, and we're going to do the rest of our presents on Friday. So I explained to her how much they were, and we still have to get presents for Nanny, etc. And she was like, okay, that's fine. She's only 8, she understands. You know, money doesn't grow on trees.
Now, 5 days before Christmas to be releasing concert tickets for a gig that young people want to go to, young people would like to get them as a Santa gift. A lot of people are complaining that it's too close to Christmas to be releasing them, and that they're too dear at €82.
Yeah, they're a bit steep, all right. I just made sure that she didn't ask Auntie for them, because she didn't know the concert was going to be on anyway. But when she found out about it, she was all excited. I wanted to go to see Ariana Grande. So I just explained to her it's not going to happen, I'm sorry. But we still have, she knows she's going to get stuff from Santa, but won't be concert tickets.
It won't be concert tickets. Okay. Now, what do you think of the tickets going on sale just 5 days before Christmas?
It's not good timing, in fairness.
Is there a better time?
January?
Well, I was about to say in January everybody's smashed, aren't they?
Well, at least you don't have to buy stuff for Santa and stuff for nannies and uncles and aunties.
Okay, so you just think timing-wise...
timing-wise, yeah, you have a better chance of... I know people are saying, it's only €82 or whatever, but some people just don't have €82.
For a gig that's not on till next September?
Exactly.
Okay, so you think they should have held off on the sale of them, and if they had held off on the sale for another couple of weeks into January...
Yeah, I don't think people would have been so upset about it.
Right, and you mightn't have had to say no.
Exactly, yeah.
Because
she did turn around after I sent the message into you. She said, I still have some communion money, can I buy the tickets out of that? So I don't know what to do there, because it is for money. But I won't be buying them, that's for definite.
All right, stay there for a second, Lynn. Our telephone number is 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to hear from you on this. Can you understand why parents are complaining about this? Tickets for Ariana Grande's September gig are being released this Thursday. Now, it will sell out fairly quickly, I should imagine. Ticket prices start at €82. Some people are giving out about the price as well. I don't think €82 that unreasonable, to be honest. But it's just the issue is how close they're being released. How close to Christmas they're being released. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp your opinion to us to 0877 98 98 98. Now, Paul, you also have two daughters who would probably love to see Ariana Grande, but they're not going to be going either. Why?
They won't be going either, Adrian. No, I have three daughters, 12, 9 and 8. And €82 for a ticket for them any time of year to bring three of them is very expensive, you know what I mean? Because it's more of a kid's gig than anything else.
In that, yes, her audience profile will be quite young, but do you think €82 is too expensive?
It is for that one, because I brought the 12-year-old to see Ed Sheeran in the Phoenix Park. And obviously that was an older group, right? So it's €80 is grand, but for a kid's concert, I think that's just extortionate money. And like that girl was saying there, before Christmas as well, there's not a hope of them going to it.
So what do you think would be a reasonable price for concert tickets? For a gig that is going to be... Yeah, well, it's not a kid...
Down around the €50 mark,
Yeah, I mean, it's not a kid's gig per se, but, it's not Barney the Dinosaur, but it will attract a younger crowd. You think 50 quid would be reasonable?
50 quid thereabouts, you know what I mean? A person in my situation, you have three daughters, and obviously I can't send them by themselves, so I had to bring myself as well, So if you're looking at your 80, you're looking at €300 or €330 or something for 4 tickets,
If it had been, if they had announced that they were going on sale at €50, would you be able to get them?
Again, if it was after Christmas, I would have put in the effort and probably got them, yeah.
But because of when they're being put on sale, which is this Thursday, 5 days before Christmas, you're in a situation where you just can't afford three €82 tickets. Or 4, actually 4.
Yeah. You have to remember, they can't go all the way themselves.
4.
4, exactly, yeah.
Okay, so disappointed both with the concert promoters for putting the tickets on sale when they are, but also disappointed at the price of the tickets.
Yeah, so both of the elements are in there, Just the wrong time and then the wrong price. But my kids are understanding of that. And as soon as I say to them now they're €82 each, they wouldn't even need an explanation for it. They just, that's way too expensive.
Right, okay, so it's good that you have such understanding kids, because not everybody does, unfortunately. And somebody just messaged us to say the tickets start at that price, but they'll actually be running much higher. And the cheapest tickets are €82, but they do go up to much more expensive. I had to buy 2 Michael Bublé tickets, and I ended up paying €267 for 2 tickets, says this message. It was a disgrace. They were supposed to start at €89. But yeah, you see, the cheaper ones probably go quicker. Megan, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Megan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Megan. You're annoyed about this as well. Why?
I just think, it's ridiculous because I went to see her in 2017 with my little sister, and the tickets were only €50, and that was the most. You know what I mean? €50 to €60, and now they're going up, €30 just because of, and this is going to sound bad, but I feel like her record label are exploiting her because of the awful thing that happened, the Manchester attack. I feel because no one really knew who she was, before that, only the younger generation or, Nickelodeon fans and everything. And now I feel God, that was awful what happened. I'm not taking that away from her, but I feel the record label saw an opportunity to make money from it. Do you know what I mean? And bump up the tickets and, do you know what I mean?
And, okay, in terms of ticket prices, well, actually, text or WhatsApp, 0877 98 98 98. Do you think a starting price of €82 for Arianna Grande tickets is too much? Text or WhatsApp, yes or no, to 0877 98 98 98. You think, Megan, as well, that for a concert that is going to attract a younger crowd, that the prices should be more reasonable? They should be down around the €50 mark.
Yeah, Little Mix, for example, their tickets were the same last year that they are for next year. Do you know what I mean? €50,
which is how much?
Which is about in around €50,
around the €50 mark. Okay,
you know.
so do you think that should be the max?
Yeah, and especially before Christmas and stuff. I don't know why they didn't release them in November, or you know what I mean, when kids are asking for what they want for Christmas and stuff, giving people a chance to.
I don't know the exact details, but it could be a case that they only just confirmed the dates in the last couple of days.
True.
But yeah, perhaps they should have better advanced planning for stuff like this, so that they can put the tickets on sale, as you said, in November when people are going to be asking for presents and so on. Well, it was a lot of disappointed people. Dan, you're annoyed. Why? Hello, Dan.
Yeah, how are you, Adrian?
Good, thank you.
I'm a very, very good, big fan of the show.
Thanks
and I very rarely disagree with you. But I have to say now, I'm outraged at your comment saying that €82 is not unreasonable. Because I find that if you, when you were between jobs from FM 104 and 98 FM and you were on the dole... I
was never on the dole in my life, Dan, but yeah, go on.
Really, because I've heard plenty of podcasts about how you were on the dole and how you felt ashamed of being on the dole.
No, I don't know where you heard that. I was once on the dole when I was 19.
Yeah. All right, well, when you were back then, would you have felt it was unreasonable, €82? Would you have felt that was reasonable?
Here's the thing.
People coming up to Christmas. Would you have found that reasonable?
Okay, here's the thing. Firstly, artists only make money out of concerts now. They make shag all money from music sales. They make shag all money from streaming. And the only way that artists, and the reason they're all going on tour is because that's where they make a few bob. €82, yes, it's expensive. But if you can't afford it, then you don't go.
Yeah, but that's even a lot of disappointed children. So many disappointed children, and then they could end up being angry with their parents. And it's not their parents' fault. When you release a 5 days before Christmas, I
do have an issue with that. I do think that's wrong. I think I think that's totally wrong to be releasing the tickets 5 days before Christmas. That bit I have an issue with.
No, I understand that, yeah, they don't make much money, especially, say with Spotify, they only get 0.0001 cent per of every song played or whatever. But, I just think that it's ridiculous that you think that's a reasonable price, I just find it completely unreasonable price. Maybe... how a €60, I'd still find that a little bit steep, but maybe that'd be okay,
All right, stay there for 1 second. 6797981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. The lines are hopping on this one. I was just in the pre-sale there, says this message, and tickets were €77 to €97. Seated tickets are 82 to 97. Now, pre-sale, I assume they're the same prices then when they actually go on general release on Thursday. I have to take a very quick break. We'll take some more calls on this. There's a load of people getting involved in this on 6797 98.1. Back in a sec.
98 FM's Dublin Talks.
With the Des Kelly Interiors gift voucher. The perfect present this Christmas.
98 FM.
Welcome back. It's Tuesday's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy, and a lot of people annoyed over the fact that firstly, Arianna Grande tickets are going on sale this Thursday, and the reason that's a problem is it puts a lot of pressure just 5 days before Christmas on parents. But secondly, that the starting price for tickets is €82. A lot of people really upset about that. Here's a message that has just come into us on WhatsApp, which, by the way, if you feel the need to, you can do the same. You can record a WhatsApp message and send it to us to 0877 98 98 98.
Adrian, it's the same with Bob Dylan and Neil Young tickets. They went on sale yesterday, and they're big bucks. They're over £100. So say Daddy wants to treat himself, him and his partner, to a concert ticket for that. And then a couple of days later, they have to get tickets for the Doors for Ariana Grande. It's just crazy. You could end up paying £400 or £500 right on top of Christmas. These promoters have no scruples. They could have easily held off till early February, and they still would have sold out. Absolutely no scruples. Don't care.
Mind you, if they'd have held off until February, they wouldn't have the money sitting in the bank account as long. Because obviously that's why tickets go on sale. All the money gets sat into a bank account and can be left there for months on end earning money. Where am I going next? Rachel, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Rachel.
Hi there, how are you doing?
Good, thanks, Rachel. What did you want to say?
Well, no, I totally agree that, like, I feel awful for, like, parents. Obviously, like, I'm 25 and I actually really wanted to see it. Like, me and my two friends were saying, oh, we actually try and get tickets. And then I saw that, firstly, the price and the starting price, and then, like, 5 days before Christmas. Like, no. I'd pay it any other time. I don't mind paying the €82, but again, I don't have kids, so I can understand that I'd be buying it for myself.
Yes, okay, but you can understand why some people are annoyed over the 82. Mind you, I was looking online earlier, and for example, her concert in Boston in March starts at, I think it was $139. Now, $139 is about €110. So it's, it's not like we're being extra ripped off here. They were even dearer in Boston.
No, it's not. And I think, to be honest, I think it's the more thing. Like, I feel like, as let's say, if it happened in February, parents would find a way to pull together. I don't think it's the price. I think it's that putting two and two together is a recipe for disappointment. And I think if you put it even at €60 or €50 before Christmas, people would still feel pinched. Do you know what I mean? Like, they would still feel it. So
so the big issue here is partly the price, but more the release date. That, if you happen to have the money, then yeah, grand, you can buy them as a Christmas present. But it is putting a lot of pressure on parents to come up with 82. Well, in fact, no, you have to buy 2 tickets. A child's not going to go on their own. So you have to come up with at least 2 tickets and then some.
Absolutely. And then if you think about that's not even half that. It's all well and good if you're living in Dublin, but you're probably going to have to book hotels and you're going to have to book a bus or something like that. It's quite an expensive thing to book, to have in general, especially around Christmas. But also, people probably don't get paid. Like, you have to think they might be getting paid this week, but again, it's a 5 week. Next month, it's a 5 week month next month. So, it's not well planned, but I would say it's the Irish. I would put it on the promoters, but I'd also put it on, it's just bad timing.
Yeah,
It's just,
and that seems to be what it is. It's just extremely bad timing. Let me play another WhatsApp message that's just come into us from Bill.
It's fairly simple. No.
Absolutely.
No. You've got what you wanted for Christmas. You're not getting any more. It's that simple. No. Easy.
Yeah, easy. No, just no. Peter, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Peter?
Morning, Adrian. How are you getting on?
Peter, you just say no.
Well, yeah, you can just say no, yeah, which is fair enough. However, like in my opinion, right, I think the time of the year, right, like that last girl said there, is absolutely disgraceful. You know, what are we, 6 days before Christmas? As you said, you know, all the Santa letters have went off to Santa Claus and everything already. You know, so what's happening is now it's going to put a lot of pressure on the parents to contact Santa Claus to try and get him to, you know, stick that into the Christmas present list as well, you know.
Okay, so you think that their timing is really poor?
The timing is it's marketing genius, but it's just really, really poor, and also how it's exploiting parents. You know, it's putting them under so much pressure. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know where your man was getting off, saying that earlier on, but it doesn't matter what.
Okay, that message there a second ago was, "This is simple. You just say no."
Yeah, absolutely. Me personally, now I'd be the exact same. It'd have to be no. But what I am saying though is that, you know, MCD or whoever's looking after the promoters, whoever's looking after it, need to turn around and take a bit of a reality check. And look, right, you might be in America, different story, right? But we're living in Ireland, you know what I mean? There's so many people that are, you know, working class people, middle of the road people, and then you've got the other class as well. You know, some people, they will sell out, no matter what way you put it, right? It's going to sell out. It'll be sold out within about 15 minutes.
No, I know that. And in reality, yes, it will sell out very quickly. And in reality, there are going to be a lot of disappointed people anyway, because they couldn't get tickets.
Disappointed people, but the problem is, right, is that a lot of people are going to put themselves under that pressure, you know, and they're going to fork out that 300, whatever it's for 4 tickets, and they're going to do without themselves for 3 or 4 weeks over Christmas. And that's the thing I have a problem with, is that the parents will do it. And it's going to leave them stuck. You know what I mean? Coming into the new year, and that's where I have the problem. And that's the initial thing, is that the heartless promoters won't give a shit. Basically, what I mean, won't give a shit about the people that are breaking their back to get that 300 quid together to get them kids that concert ticket, and they're left in the lurch, and the promoters are sitting there, you know, sipping their champagne and their Cristal after selling out a concert in Dublin.
All right, let me just bring in one or two very quick calls. Laura, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Laura.
Hiya, how's things?
Good, thanks, Laura. You also paid over the odds for Bublé tickets.
I did. I was buying Michael Bublé tickets for a very good friend of mine, and it started like that at the €9 mark. So I got the pre-sale code, and the day the pre-sale went on at 9 a.m, I was sat there with my phone. Pre-sale came up, and the tickets, €9 tickets, were nowhere to be seen.
Oh.
So I said, right, okay. I closed it over, and I said, I will go and I'll stand at a Ticketmaster outlet when they're released in 2 days' time, and I will queue and I will get the €89 tickets, which I done. And again, no €89 tickets. So I ended up paying €267 for 2 tickets, and the seats are at the very, very, very back.
So what happens? I am always curious about this. What happens to other ones?
On the desk. Well, I asked the girls on the desk. It was an Easton's outlet that do Ticketmaster, and she said, look, I don't know. She said they must go for like corporates or, you know, maybe radio stations. I don't know. But she said there was very few of them. I got the pre-sale, and I also stood in queued. I couldn't have tried any more than I tried to get these tickets, like at the €89. So
that is very frustrating, and the whole pre-sale thing as well is because you've no idea what's being released, you've no idea what remains, and it has become a bit of an issue. And I know the whole idea is to push people into different brands and whatever for pre-sales. Let me just play another WhatsApp message. And by the way, you can send these in to us whenever you feel like it. 0877 98 98 98 is our text or WhatsApp number. But if you want to send a voice message, it has to be by WhatsApp.
Lads, between the Spice Girls tickets and Ariana Grande tickets, you don't be getting out a small loan out of the credit union. It's ridiculous. Happy Christmas.
You're not buying Spice Girls tickets for little kids, really, because they've no idea who they are. One last call on this, and that's you, Kirsty. You got tickets already for Ariana Grande on the pre-sale.
Yeah, we got 4 this morning for $3.55 for 4 seated tickets. I think that's great. €88. We tried to get pink ones a while ago. It was $5.40.
So hang on, €88 a ticket?
Yeah, but they're for seated tickets. I think that's great, like.
Now, people are giving out about €82 tickets being far too expensive because of the young crowd that she'll attract.
Yeah, but what we knew that tickets were going to climb, so if you're going to buy concert tickets, just keep the money by. That's what we don't.
Why? How far in advance did you know that these tickets were going to go on sale?
No, well, not Ariana Grande, but we knew we were going to buy Christmas tickets or concert tickets for Christmas.
They release them every Christmas, just before Christmas. So if you're going to get tickets for your kids, just you know they're going to get released that week. So put it by.
We got Bruno Mars tickets last year in December as well.
Not 5 days before Christmas, though.
I think I bought One Direction tickets.
Well, yeah, because we had given them as Christmas presents, so we'd only just got them just right before Christmas because they were part of Christmas presents.
I think like the 15th or 8th. And then the One Direction tickets went on sale in December as well. You know, you just have to wait for them to come on sale, I suppose.
All right, but like I said, we've had a lot of complaints from listeners. MCD are the promoters. We're going to send a copy of this morning's show on to MCD. Although, if Kirsty's already bought her tickets on the pre-sale, there's not a chance in hell that they're going to pull the sale. To the best of my knowledge, the ticket prices aren't set by the promoters anyhow. So... sadly, I don't think there's anything you can do. I understand why people are cross over it, being released 5 days before Christmas. But as the pre-sale has already started and Kirsty has gotten her tickets, are you looking forward to it, Kirsty, next September?
Well, I'm not looking forward to it, but the kids are.
The kids are, all right, very good.
Well, they will be when they get their presents.
Very good, all right. Well, anyway, as I said, the pre-sale has already started, so there's not a chance that they're going to pull the sale. But we will send a copy of the show onto MCD. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. On the way after the break, I want to talk to you about consent and comments that were made yesterday by a famous actress about consent and what it is doing to the way of the world. We're back in just a couple of minutes.
98.
Live and exclusive to Dublin's 98 FM, Monday through Friday between 10 and midday. This is Adrian Kennedy. You're with 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And Trish is here with Tuesday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. ESB crews are working to restore power in Sutton, Greystones and other parts of the country this morning. Strong winds and heavy rain overnight has led to spot flooding and some fallen trees in places. It says supply should be returned to everyone by lunchtime. Issues around gay, lesbian and transgender relationships could be taught in Catholic schools under new proposals. A draft report from the Oireachtas Education Committee is calling for radical changes to how sex education is presented to children in primary and secondary schools. Under the plans, school kids would learn about LGBT relationships. The result of a ballot over strike action by 40,000 nurses and midwives will be known later today. If the vote passes, members of the INTO could begin 24-hour work stoppages. And a 36-year-old man who looks like Friends star David Schwimmer has failed to appear at a UK court to face charges of theft and fraud. Abdullah Husseini from Slough was arrested after a CCTV image of a man who looks like the actor was shared online. A warrant has now been issued for his arrest. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
It's Tuesday morning. Good morning, Dublin. How are you today? I'm Adrian Kennedy, and between now and midday, this is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I meant to mention this to you earlier on. I forgot all about it because we've been planning this for the last couple of weeks, and I forgot all about saying it to you. Tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, our Jeremy is going to be out and about on the streets with our annual selection box giveaway. Now, we will be in 3 different locations, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, and one on Friday. The 3 different locations will be in different parts of the city and county. And we will not be announcing where he is until 5 minutes before he gets there. Okay, so tomorrow morning, between 11 and 12, Jeremy will be out and about with the 98 FM Thunders, giving away free selection boxes, some of which will contain cold, hard cash. money in some of the selection boxes. Okay, now the clue as to where he is going to be tomorrow and Thursday and Friday is each of the 3 locations are locations that we haven't gone to before in the last 5 years since we started here at 98 FM. Okay, we'll be doing a Facebook Live video on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D in the half an hour before he's out, and he'll be giving hints as to where he is going to be. All right, so tomorrow morning and Thursday morning and Friday morning, Jeremy will be out between 11 and 12 in different locations around the city, 3 different locations, and as I said, the 3 places that we have chosen this year are 3 places we haven't been to before. So, make sure you're listening tomorrow morning when we give hints as to where he's going to be, and then we'll tell you exactly where he is, and then it will be literally first come, first served to get a free selection box, some of which contains money. All right, so keep listening. Make sure you're here with us tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. for details on where he is going to be tomorrow, and then the same on Thursday and Friday. And it's amazing how, just a selection box. We all love selection boxes. We love them especially when they're free, and we love them even more when there's a chance of money inside them. So we'll be doing that for you tomorrow. It's just our way of saying a little thank you to you for listening to us throughout the year here at 98 FM. Now, next on the programme, a debate about what consent actually means has been a major issue in Ireland and beyond this past year. NUI Galway researchers made headlines last August when they found that out of 3,500 students in Ireland surveyed, 70% said a couple who had 28 standard drinks were able to consent. They also found that 37% of students believe a woman who's been drinking heavily can still give consent. Well, with the Christmas holidays coming up, the researchers who run the Smart Consent programme have released a video highlighting that consent is ongoing, mutual and freely given. This video has been seen quite widely. I'm joined on the line to discuss the video and the attitudes towards consent by Dr. Siobhan O'Higgins from the School of Psychology. Dr. Higgins, welcome to 98 FM.
Thanks a million, Adrian.
What is the purpose of this video that you've made?
Oh, well, the video is a promo video for the 2 actual short film series that we actually have up on YouTube, which depict various relationships and how there are decisions within an evening that people make which can lead you one way or the other. And each of the films that we have up there have 4 different endings. So that's to increase awareness of people do make decisions, do make choices all the way through a sort of intimate encounter or getting involved with someone else sexually intimately, right? So the video that we've released is like just a little taster of those videos to promote the whole idea that consent is OMFG, which is ongoing, mutual and freely given. Because if you can remember that, like, it's not about signing a contract, it's not about taking a video, it's not about saying yes once, it's ongoing. So ongoing is very important. Like, if you get involved with someone intimately, you're flirting, you're having a nice vibe, all that kind of stuff, you can't assume then that they want to have sex with you. I mean, that's a bit of a leap in faith, but people seem to think that, especially when they're drinking. So this was released before Christmas, just to remind people when they're out there having a great time, partying under the mistletoe, all those kind of things, that to remember that consent is OMFG, so that people don't get confused, people don't do things that they wish they hadn't done, and all those kind of things. So people just have a good holiday season.
Okay, because obviously one of the fears, and in fact, I know this was mentioned to you earlier on. I don't know if you heard what actress Joan Collins had to say on television yesterday. I just want to play this for you and get your reaction to this.
What's going to happen to seduction? Is they not going to be allowed anymore? I mean, is somebody going to have to ask permission to the parents before they can kiss a girl?
So what's going to happen to seduction? What's going to happen to, flirting
and extreme view that everything's going to stop? I mean, one of the things is, like in the past, and looking at, how we relate to each other intimately and how do we actually form, flirting is a very important part of getting to know someone. I mean, flirting doesn't involve the fact that you're going to actually have sex with them. It's about testing out whether you actually like this person, whether you can make them laugh, whether they're enjoying your company, and then you move on. And seduction is about finding someone attractive, checking that they find you attractive, because going back to OMFG, it has to be mutual. It's not just you forcing someone or pushing someone, say, go on, you will, have another drink, and then I'll get them. Oh, yeah. And in the past, and some of the things we've looked at and in research, it's been that people don't want to ask if it's okay, just in case they get told no. But that's no good. You can't just push people and just hope that they won't say no. And it's because from the past, women have been the passive or seen as being passive. You can't say anything. You can't say what you like, what you don't like. So it's about having a voice. Both people involved, all the people involved in any sexual encounter, having a voice and saying, yeah, I'd like to do that. No, I wouldn't like to do that. Oh, no. Yes. Being able to say yes, being able to say no, and being able to ask. And then there's no confusion. Because it gets very confusing, especially when you're drunk. So this whole thing, this fear that people won't be able to seduce each other, you won't be able to flirt, that is rubbish. All it is about saying we need to communicate better. And when we're drunk, we don't communicate very well. And what we do is we misread the cues of whether someone's really into us or not. And that's not on. You have to be aware and you have to say, I'd love to.
Okay, so no means no, even in the flirting stage, then, I assume. Well, obviously it does. So, if a fella goes up and he starts groping a young one and she says, no, get away from me, that's the end of that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Instead of pushing and maybe you don't, you're not a girly, but maybe people have come onto you being a famous person and they're pushing and they want to get close to you and they want to do things to you and you're going, no, thank you. And you're able to say no. But if you're into it and you say, oh, yeah, okay, and you start that rapport, you start replying back and people know when they're wanted and when they're not wanted. It's just some guys seem to have this, superiority thing. She will in the end. God, I'm so great. Because you're drunk, you misread what she's saying, all this kind of stuff. There is no, sex is not compulsory. You don't have to go out and get drunk and then get laid. That's not what it's about. It's about forming amazing relationships because we're missing the point. Actually being sexually intimate with someone is just an amazing experience. It shouldn't be just regretting and blah blah.
I want to go back to the survey from last August, which caused alarm in some people's minds. That the survey found that 37% of students believe a woman who's been drinking very heavily can give consent. Now, is it fair to say that if you're in a situation, and this is aimed at blokes primarily, if a woman is very drunk, you should not be trying to have sex with her?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
If someone is really, really drunk, I mean, it depends. People say, well, what is really, really drunk? How do you know what is really, really drunk?
So when we're doing workshops with students,
I ask them, how do you know? And they say, well, they're falling over, they're slurring their words, they're puking, they're asleep, all those kind of things. Obviously, if someone is that drunk, basically, you shouldn't be trying to have sex with them. Because,
now the other part,
a conscious decision.
Another result from that survey, and this is something that came up on our show last week, and I want to focus on for a second. And this is the part of the survey that said 70% of those surveyed said a couple, and the important a couple who had 28 standard drinks were able to consent. And what we heard on our show last week was that. It was stated on the show that even if you're in a relationship for years. And she's a bit drunk, or she's very drunk, you also shouldn't be having sex with your wife or your fiancé or your girlfriend if she's very drunk. And people got very annoyed over that because the conversation was, we've all had drunk sex.
Yeah, we've all had drunk sex. And also, the whole thing was that if you look back at the survey question, is both people. So a lot of people would think that if we're both equally drunk, right, so no one's pushing anybody to do something, we're both equally off our paces, then it's okay. But it's not okay because in the law, the 2017 law says that you do not have the capacity to consent to sexual activity if you are drunk. So the problem is that someone the next day, doesn't have to be the girl, it could be the bloke saying, hey, I didn't consent. I never said I wanted to have sex with you. Okay, we had sex, but I didn't say, I know, and then you can get into trouble.
Okay, and
so
here's where the grey area in that law comes in.
Yeah.
What is drunk? Your drunk and my drunk might be two completely different things.
Absolutely. So you see, the thing is with Irish law is we have a law, but till it goes into court cases and judges decide, and then we have case law that actually decides how we're going to apply that law, that hasn't happened yet. Do you know what I mean? So we have a law saying that if you're drunk, you do not have the capacity to consent to sexual activity. I mean, if you're drunk, you wouldn't sign for a house. If you're drunk, you wouldn't do loads of things, but yet you think it's okay to share your bodily fluids with someone else, which is pretty dodgy, really, because you can pick up a sexually transmitted infection, people can get pregnant, people can say, well, no, I never consented, people can be accused of sexual assault. So really, maybe we should change our attitude. If you're really drunk, you know your own capacity for drink, you know when you're really drunk, don't assume that you're going to have sex.
Okay, let me read a message that's just come into me. And by the way, you can text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. This is a caller I'm going to get on the air in a second, but here's what he says.
Yeah.
Oh, but sorry, I don't actually know if it's a he. I'm assuming it's a he. And it says, people used to have common sense. Now people have to be shown videos and given manuals on how to interact with each other. I'm tired of these busybodies dictating to people.
Well, let's look at the context within which we live now. If you look at all the statistics, lots of people are now single. People don't get married till they're in their 30s, right? So they're not settling down till then. A lot of people are interacting and forming relationships through their screens, right? And we know from research that, when you're reacting to people and communicating with people through the screens from a young age, you lose the ability to have a high degree of empathy. And empathy is very important in human relationships, that we can actually read the other person. So if you're always communicating with people through screens, you don't see how people react to you.
Absolutely not.
You don't see, So all these things are building up to the point where being able to interact with a person and know that they're into you and that they really want to share their bodily fluids with you is getting far and far more complicated and more difficult to understand, because you don't understand the nuances of human behaviour. Right? So that's why we're getting all this stuff saying, oh, this is what you should do, or you shouldn't go this far. Because we can see from the court cases, we can see from the Me Too movement, from the Belfast court cases, that people are drinking a lot of alcohol and doing stuff to other people that is not respectful. It's not loving, it's not mutual, and it's not on. It shouldn't be on, and it's
Okay, so the point you're making is, contrary to what that message, and in fact it was Michael. I have him on the line here. Michael,
it is a bloke.
It is a bloke. Yeah, you're saying people used to have common sense. Now people have to be shown videos and given manuals on how to interact with each other. It's not quite that bad, is it?
Well, I don't think they have to be shown, but they're getting a force down their necks. I mean, that lady is saying a lot of stuff, but I mean, let's talk about reality here. Let's talk about the feminist movement. Let's talk about false rape claims. Let's talk about a lot of stuff. Men are being forced to... men aren't being men anymore. They're not allowed to be men anymore. Men are given all these responsibilities in life, but no authority. Men are being shamed and shunned for things they haven't done. You have 1,000 men, right? 999 men will be good, and one man will be bad. He'll be a predator. And those 999 men will be judged by that one predator's... So what feminism and what women like this will do is they will shame the 999 men to try and put that one bad man in place.
Okay.
Can I just say, excuse me, yes, I'm not shaming any men. I think men are fantastic. What I'm saying is that people are getting confused. I'm not saying it's about men, it's about women as well. I know, I'm not shaming men. I'm not saying that men are all predators. I'm not. Sex is a mutual thing. Why aren't women allowed to
Why do you feel the need to stick your nose into other people's business? It's none of your business.
I'm not sticking my nose into anybody else's business.
You are.
Oh,
Michael, hang on.
I think that's a bit much. I'm not sticking my nose in it.
Hang on, the time don't call for it.
And the law.
I was off.
Sorry, Michael, firstly, this lady is a sexologist at the School of Psychology in Galway.
What she said, I don't rate her at all.
Okay, hang on for 1 second. This whole conversation is about consent and about people understanding what it is to have consent and to get consent to have sex with the opposite sex or the same sex for that matter. And people need to know what is and what isn't consent.
Yeah, there's a law now, so people do need to know that, don't they? We're not shaming anybody.
We've been around for a long time. We've managed till now. Right.
So everybody has been having great mutual sex all the time. When they're drunk, they have great sex.
That's the problem with you people. You can't accept that life isn't perfect. There's shady parts of life. That's life. You want life to be perfect. Ain't going to happen, love.
Okay, the point...
No, I don't want life.
Okay.
He's a very interesting man, isn't he? He's very angry.
He's a bit angry, all right. Siobhan, the point that is being made, and he wouldn't be the only one who's making this point, is that and I understand consent is a two-way thing, and has to be a two-way thing, but it does primarily target men and men's ability to get consent. And the point he's trying to make is, and put it in a more controlled way, the point he's trying to make is that because there are some bad men out there, he believes that all men are being painted as potentially bad. Where the reality of it is most of us aren't bad at all.
Exactly. And that is a problem. And that's not what I want to do. That's not what the work I do is about at all. It's about working with people so that people can communicate. And it's not saying all men are bad. Absolutely not. And it's not saying all women are good. Absolutely not. Everybody is, there's good and bad in both genders. I wouldn't go there at all. And I think guys have a really hard time. It's really difficult being a young man at the moment.
I would imagine it is.
Loads of things. I would say it's really, really difficult. But it's also really, really difficult to be a young woman, right? There's public shaming on both sides. And I think all of that is really strange, and how people are so mean to each other and put each other down on social media and all those kind of things. So it's a difficult context.
Okay, let me just go back to the whole idea of consent and whether or not do we need, and I know it is something that has been trialled in universities around the country with limited success, the need for consent classes. Do we not instinctively know where we're wanted and where we're not wanted? Generally.
Really, when you're pissed out of your head, you don't know. It obviously isn't that way, because when you look at the levels of sexual assault and people walking away, when you look at the levels of sexual assault on guys as well, guys aren't immune from this, being put down, being sexually harassed. People aren't very respectful to each other. And they're not consent class. What we deliver is consent workshops, where we raise awareness and people walk away from a workshop having had an interesting time, having discussed things with their peers, looking at, we all know what consent is, but then when you look at a situation that was very common to what might happen on a night out, then it gets a little bit of a grey area. So what could make that clearer is someone saying, are you okay with that? Yes, I'm okay with that. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, I want to do that. To be able to communicate. And that's all those consent workshops are about, and actually showing people that, in fact, the social norm, they believe that consent is really important to get, but they don't think other students think that it is. So there's a gap between how they feel and how they feel other students feel, which is, the problem is that they believe that they can't then talk about it because they'll be seen as odd. Whereas, in fact, everybody is the 86% who think that it's important to get consent. So it's about teaching communication skills, because we're not getting it in schools. So it's about having better RSE, which we're going to eventually get better RSE in schools, which is holistic RSE, which talks about all nuances of forming relationships, because we're not forming respectful relationships. People aren't having great, wonderful, intimate sexual encounters with other people. They're having things that they regret, things that they didn't enjoy, things that were painful, or going to the very extreme of being forced to do things they really didn't want to do.
Okay, I have to take a very quick commercial break. I'm talking with Dr. Siobhan O'Higgins, who's a sexologist at the School of Psychology in NUI in Galway. It's a fascinating conversation. And Siobhan, you're welcome to stay with us if you have the time.
Okay, I have to go before 12 because I've got a meeting. So another 5-10 minutes will be grand.
Okay, I'll be with you. I'll be back to you straight after the break. Don't go away.
98 FM, Dublin Talks.
With the Des Kelly Interiors gift voucher. The perfect present this Christmas.
98 FM.
We're talking about consent and, for example, the statement yesterday by the actress Joan Collins. Obviously, she's from a different era, a different generation and everything else. But what she said was the art of seduction will be stamped out as modern consent culture goes out of control. The actress said, what's going to happen to seduction is you are not going to be allowed anymore. Is someone going to have to ask permission of the parents before they can kiss a girl? It's absolutely becoming out of control, she said. It seems to have happened in the last 2 years. It seems to get worse and worse. Siobhan, I was mentioning her comments earlier on. Is that where we are heading? That... and you even said yourself, it's very difficult being a young man today. Yes. Is that where we're at now? That a guy is nearly afraid to look crooked at a woman?
Well, it shouldn't be the way that it's at. It's things have to get worse, it seems, before they get better. So all this has come to the fore. People are talking about it now. At least we're talking about it and having a conversation. Before we weren't talking about it, okay? People weren't able to say, well, I think, I didn't want to do that. We need to just be able to talk about what we want and we don't want sexually. And one of the issues is that female sexuality has been suppressed for centuries. And so it's gone to the point that young women are supposed to be passive. They're not allowed to say what they want and they don't want sexually. And so if they do, then they're seen as sluts and whores and all this kind of stuff. And that has to go, right? Because nobody wants to have, in theory, and in my world, this ideal world that your man thinks that I'm to have, I don't think that anybody should have sexual intimacy with somebody else if they don't want to, if they're not enjoying it, right? And it's about being able to say what you like and you don't like. And girls are confused about their own sexuality. They're confused by what's okay, what's sexy, what's not. I mean, there was research I could talk like this for ages. I mean, there was research in Australia recently, a few years ago, which asked girls how they felt about their first intimate sexual intercourse, right? And the majority of them said, I think I looked all right. Now, that's sad. To me, that's sad. I mean, that's not what a sexual intimacy is about. It's about a mutually shared, amazing experience that human beings can have together, right? That's what it's about. Surely it's not about looking good or being dominant over someone else or getting what you want or getting your whole or getting your end weight. All those things aren't beautiful. They're not respectful. They're not sensuous. They're not erotic. It's all about putting someone else down and not being respectful. So it's about women being able to say what they do and they don't want, men being able to say what they do and they don't want, and working out between two people what it is that will give them pleasure, both pleasure. And if you care and if you love and adore someone, you want to give them pleasure, right? If you care about them, you want to give them pleasure. But the thing is, it's the objectification of the other person. And you're objectifying someone else in an intimate situation when all you care about is your sexual satisfaction.
Okay, let me read a message that's just come into me as well, and it says, she's right on the one hand that education is important, but a predator is a predator. Most men are not, and the few that are won't change no matter how much we talk about consent.
But I agree totally. Yeah, if people are into rape is not about sex. Rape is about power. There are some weird people out there that get their jollies off by subjugating other people and pushing people, raping people. Rape is not about sex, it's about power. We're not talking about that. The work we're trying to do is to talk to young people before they jump in the river, giving them the skills and the understanding of how they are going to approach these sexually intimate situations so that they come out afterwards going, do Jesus, that was great. Instead of going, God, I wish I hadn't done that. Oh, wow, why did I do? Oh, gee, so they don't regret that they decided for themselves this is what they wanted to do. They weren't so drunk or drugged that they couldn't make a conscious decision. That they were willing to do it. That they were going, yeah, this is kind of nice. Oh, I like this blood, and that they do it safely. If we can get to that point. We can't stop all rape, but what we can do is we can empower young people and children to know what they want and what they don't want, so they're not going to get involved in situations like Belfast.
Okay, stay there for one second, Siobhan, and let me just bring in one last call, and that's Shane. You're on 98 FM. Hi, Shane.
That's right. How are you?
Shane, you were saying this works both ways.
Yeah, of course it does. Like, I worked in town in pubs for years. And what the girl is saying is right. But when girls get drunk and they're in a crowd, you should see what they be talking about, what they want to do to men, what they want to do to bar staff, what they want to do to the waiters, what they're willing to do for drinks. So you can't say it's all down to men or it's men this and men that, and that's all it seems to be. It seems to be.
In other words, Siobhan, women behave badly too.
Absolutely. Am I saying it's all men? Have I come across saying it's all men?
You keep on going back to rape. What I'm saying
but women rape men too. Women rape men too.
Hang on. Go into town on a Saturday night and do your survey when women are after having about 6 or 7 drinks, and then see who's different between men and women then. We'd be behind the bar, and women would be coming up with their dresses lowered down, their boobs up, hoping and asking you for free drink. Look at this, look at that. And ask any barman that walks in town in nightclubs and like that, they'll all tell you the same thing. So I'm sick of hearing men being bashed about this and about that. Why don't you just bring it in colleges over here the way they have it in America? In America, in like the likes of scholarship skills and all that, they have to sign a consent form before they even have sex.
But that's ridiculous because you can change your mind halfway through. Signing a thing before sex is.
See, there you go again. See, it's again. You're putting up boundaries for it. But the two of them have to sign before they go back to the dorms. They're both signing a form saying they're consenting to go back to each other and have sex. And then all of a sudden there's because lads who have the scholarships who are getting done over there because women are all of a sudden turning around and saying, oh no, crap, I didn't want to do that. But yes, she signed the consent form that night. If a girl, by the way, I do not condone rape in any way. Hang on for a minute. I do not condone rape in any way, stretch my imagination. Anyone who does it is the biggest scumbag in the world and should be chemically castrated and put in prison for life. But what I'm saying to you is that if a woman and a man are drunk and they go back to a hotel room, but I'm not saying all women do this now, but if a woman and a man go back to a hotel room, she's not going back to have a cuddle. She's not going back to have a cup of coffee.
But this is where, Shane, this is where consent becomes an issue. Just because you go back to a hotel room isn't giving consent.
What I'm saying to you is if you go into town and you see the way the women are with the men in the nightclubs, they're basically undressing us in the nightclub.
Yeah, you're saying two things, Shane, which are very important things, that women behave badly too, which I totally agree with you. A drink and sex, and where...
Then answer your question then. If you agree with me on that, then why is it always a man's life that's ruined the minute the woman screams rape?
It isn't.
Even if it's not.
Yes, excuse me.
Hang on, the rugby case up north, young Jackson, Paddy Jackson, will never play football for Ireland, rugby again, for Ireland again, because she alleged he raped him. His life is ruined because she falsely...
Everybody's life is ruined. Nobody won.
No, hang on for a minute.
Absolutely nobody won in that case.
She should prison for the same sentence that he would have got for being accused of being found guilty of rape. So why wasn't she thrown in prison for the same sentence of accusing?
He wasn't put in prison.
No, but the argument is that if an allegation is made and is not proven, as was the case with the Belfast trial, that the accuser should face some form of punishment because it was never proven that it happened in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, false allegations of rape are pretty minimal if you look at the statistics, but they're the ones that are taken out and bandied about, that women are accusing men of rape, which, if you are sure, if you communicate and you say, do you want to do this? They say yes. If the girl says to the guy, do you want me to do this? He says yes, and they do it. And then halfway through he says, no, actually, I don't like the way you're doing that. That's a bit hard. That's hurting me. No, stop. And she doesn't stop. she has to stop. So this whole thing. So the other thing you were talking about was, saying consent at the beginning, agreeing to consent. If you go back to a hotel room, obviously you're agreeing to sex. Halfway through, if it's not, well, you did.
You did say she's not going back for a cuddle.
I know, that's what I said. I said she's not going back for a cuddle. But what I'm saying to you is, would it not be better off bringing in the forms, like I said, that you both sign a consent form? Why not? It's working in America.
Because you're pissed out of your head. So how can you legally, with the new law, that's 2017 law, that wouldn't hold any water?
Hang on. I agree with you wholeheartedly, saying that the two of them are pissed out of their heads. Then why is it all right for a woman the next morning to get up and say, crap, I didn't want to do that, or she could be married, which, and I'm not saying that all women do it, and men do it. A lot of women and men go out the weekends and they do whatever they're doing. What happens then when she gets up the next morning, pissed after being pissed, regrets what she's had to do, and then she says, oh no, I didn't want to do this.
You see, Shane, this just focuses the mind as to why, and we're talking about men should not be having sex with drunk women. Simple as.
Yeah. So what? So then women should be having sex with drunk men?
Yeah.
No.
And then there's no confusion.
Just when you're drunk, just do something else. Like, have, penetrative sexual intercourse when you're drunk. You're not going to be at your best. You probably won't remember it. You may not do it safely, and you may regret it the next day. So just think of it in a different way. Everybody seems to think that you go out, you get pissed out of your brains, and you have sex with whoever's around who let you do it, who go for it, or, whether you're a man or a woman. Sex is not compulsory. Having a good time, doesn't mean that you have to get pissed out of your brains, which it seems that you have to do now. I'm out walking, coming back from whatever and seeing all these young ones completely off their face and behaving abominably and being really obnoxious. That's not great, is it? Why is it okay to behave in such a way? I don't know,
All right, but look, it's a fascinating conversation. If anybody wants to look at those consent videos, Siobhan, where can they find them?
So you go NUI Galway Smart Consent, and it's Tom and Julie and Jake and Kieran are the two that we've released so far, and then we've got two more coming out during the year. So we're working with the Students' Union. They're the ones who came up with, students came up with the idea that consent is OMFG, so it's ongoing, mutual and freely given. And if you can remember that when you're out there and make sure that you have great, respectful sex, then you'll be having a great old time.
All right, Dr. Siobhan O'Higgins from NUI Galway, thank you very much indeed for joining us on 98 FM. We appreciate your time. And if you want to look up those videos, they're on YouTube. They're quite good, actually. NUI Galway and then Smart Consent. You just type into YouTube and you'll find those videos. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. On the way after the break, is it ever acceptable to re-gift a gift? So you get a gift for Christmas or for your birthday, and you're not mad about it, so you give it to somebody else. Is that ever acceptable? Do you do it? Call me right now on 6797 981. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Quick break, back in a sec.
98 FM's Dublin Talks
with the Des Kelly Interiors gift voucher for beds, flooring and more.
98 FM.
This is Adrian Kennedy. Is it ever acceptable to re-gift? That's a word that was apparently coined on a 1995 episode of Seinfeld. But it's something that happened long before that and will probably happen ever since, or from time immemorial. Sometimes people get a gift, they're not overly mad about it, or they have it already, and they stash it away for that moment when... what are you looking at me like that for? I invited Jeremy into the studio a moment ago, and he'd no idea why I was inviting him in.
Yes, to announce that this, and I have the script here, this coming Thursday, a lot of people won't be aware of this, I didn't even know this was a day, this coming Thursday is officially Re-Gift Day.
Well, that's actually not the reason I invited you into the studio, because I want to talk about re-gifting, okay?
Yes.
And I've asked you to come into the studio because of re-gifting. Now, not to read out a script that you might have in your hand, yeah? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you a little story, and I'm going to hang you out to dry here, Dixon, okay? Last week, we had, here at 98 FM, a, what's it called? Thing, when you swap gifts, what's it called?
Oh, we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Secret Santa.
Secret Santa here at 98 FM, right? In fact, it was all of the staff from in the building. And that involves you give a gift and you get a gift back from somebody random in the company. And I found out, well, because he told me, that Jeremy actually gave a gift to a member of staff here at 98 FM last week.
Jesus.
That was re-gifted. This was a gift that you had gotten before from somebody else that you pawned off on a member of staff here at 98 FM last week. God, you can hear them booing outside here.
You actually can. Why did you say that? There was no need for you to say that.
Because I love hanging you out to dry. Here's the thing. I think the rudest thing in the world that you can possibly do is to give a gift to somebody that you'd gotten from somebody else. It's the most obnoxious thing I've ever heard.
But the person, and I don't think he knows that it was me that gave him the gift because it was Secret Santa, the person that got the gift from me, it's a very nice gift. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was in my gift wardrobe at home. And
your what?
I have a gift wardrobe in the spare bedroom.
What's a gift wardrobe?
It's everybody has a gift wardrobe.
No, I don't, but go on.
It's a wardrobe that's in our spare room, and we load it with gifts that we're never going to use. Like, we have stuff from back from when we got engaged, which was like donkeys years ago. We have wedding gifts in the wardrobe. We have leftover Christmas gifts. I actually have a list on my phone. I have a document on my phone of all the stuff that's in the wardrobe. It's like an inventory.
Are you actually taking the mick here?
No, I'm deadly serious. I have an inventory.
You have a wardrobe?
Yeah.
Full of gifts that you don't want.
Yeah, that were left over from
that you're going to pawn off on somebody else.
Yeah, that I regularly do when the time comes up. So if I get a reminder on my phone, it's Adrian's birthday next week. So I'll go to my document on my phone and I'll see the inventory. It's quite a big inventory, by the way. And I'll say, okay, it's Adrian's birthday coming up. What is in the re-gifting wardrobe that can be used? And I'll pick something out.
The most obnoxious thing I've ever heard.
Everybody re-gifts.
No, they don't.
Every single person.
Well, that's what I want to find out. Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Is it rude to re-gift? Is it rude to get a gift off one person and pawn it off on somebody else, rather than putting any thought into buying them a gift yourself? Text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98.
And why are you saying it's hurtful? Why is
I just think it's obnoxious. Do you say hurtful?
Do you want to hear what's in my re-gifting
Well, you actually have a list.
Yeah, I'm not making this up. Have a listen.
Okay, go on. What have
by
you
the way,
got?
Donald Trump re-gifts. He said this a couple of weeks ago. That
I know he does.
He re-gifts. Okay, have a listen. This is exactly what is in the wardrobe of our re-gifting wardrobe. I hope there's nobody listening that knows me. 2 placemat sets. A Newbridge cutlery set. 2 sets of dessert forks. Do you need dessert forks? They're the little small forks. No. 3 picture frames. 4 scarves. 3 are female, 1 is male. 1 bathrobe. Been trying to get rid of that one for a couple of years. 3 molten brown bath gel sets. 7 bottles of wine. We don't drink wine, you see, so every time we get wine, it goes into the wardrobe. 5 jigsaw sets. 3 vases. And finally, a Mary Berry cookery book.
So who gave you a jigsaw set as a gift?
The young fella got jigsaw sets, but he'd already got the jigsaws, so we'd be pawning those off as well.
So you're even pawning off the child's gifts?
There's only so many Thomas the Tank Engine jigsaws a child can play with. So that is the contents of our...
My God almighty. So anybody, ladies and gentlemen, who get a gift from Jeremy Dixon in any shape or form, chances are it's a gift that he didn't want.
Well, no, say for instance the Mary Berry cookery book, yeah? I think my wife got it 3 years ago for her birthday. Okay, she already had the book. What was she going to do? What was she going to do with it? So it went into the wardrobe. That's going to go. In fact, I think I have that earmarked for somebody for this Christmas.
That is, I'm shocked, I really am. My auntie gave me a present last Christmas, says this message, which was most certainly a re-gift because I had given her that gift the previous Christmas. You see, this is what happens. Okay, you've got your re-gift wardrobe there with all of these gifts. So when it comes to my birthday, you could end up giving me something that I gave you as a present.
No, because I know who gave them. I have a little note beside it. So if you look at the list there, what has it got beside each thing?
Oh yeah, it does.
The name of the person who gave it to me.
Is my name on that list?
No, it's not. No.
Eddie, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Eddie?
Good morning, lads. You well?
Eddie, is there any harm in re-gifting?
No, Adrian, I think you're in and out of fuddy-duddy.
Well, Eddie, now that you say that, how would you like a set of Newbridge dessert forks for €5?
Oh, you're selling them now?
Why not?
I'll re-gift the re-gift if you gave me that.
Well, before I got them as a present, I didn't even know a dessert fork was a thing.
Yeah.
They're little pastry forks.
Last year on my job, I was given, the drivers were coming in, and I got about 8 bottles brandy, whiskey. I'm never going to drink that. I don't drink at home. Only a social drinker in the pub. It would sit there gathering dust forever. So I just gave it off as presents. You know what I mean? Save me a few bob. Happy days, everyone wins. Give it to someone that'll use it.
You see, here's my thing about the regifting, the whole regifting thing, yeah? Firstly, it's obnoxiously rude to the person who gave you the gift in the first place, that your gift means so little to them that you fling it into a wardrobe. But secondly, it means you don't give a damn about the person that you're giving the gift to as well, because...
Yes, I do, because I probably would have gone a bottle of whiskey anyway.
No, because you didn't put any thought into it whatsoever.
I did. I thought, oh, he'll like that. And he did.
Yeah, in other words, I'm not going to give the Mary Berry cookbook. By the way, it's a great book. You can make...
You're giving it to someone that will get use out of it.
In fact, I have it earmarked for somebody who I know.
They don't know it's a re-gift.
No, so she...
Well, they do now. They do now. That's why I brought the conversation up.
Let's call her A.
Yeah.
A will be getting the Mary Berry cookbook this Christmas. A, I know, likes Mary Berry, so she's getting the cookbook. I didn't want the cookbook because we already have it. Everybody's happy. It's a win-win
Adrian,
situation.
do you like a tipple of brandy, do you?
Not really, no. It wouldn't be a brand.
Whiskey or whatever.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, imagine someone gave you a bottle and you were going, oh, that's a grand little prize. I'll have a little dabble of that when I get home. You wouldn't know it's a re-gift. You're delighted. Everyone's a winner.
See, Adrian, I think you're the only person that has a problem with re-gifting. I would imagine 99.99% of people listening now have re-gifted or don't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
really?
You don't tell someone it's a re-gift. For all they know,
obviously
you put a bit of effort into it.
Obviously you don't tell. Okay, let me give you an example. I got a wedding gift last year, yeah? And I know it was a re-gift because it had been sitting in the sun for months and the colour on the box of this product was actually gone off.
Which is why you should have a re-gifting wardrobe. Everything that goes into my wardrobe is
that was a bit stupid on the part of the person that gave it to you.
Yeah. And I was that close. I was that close to saying, could you not have been arsed buying us an actual present yourself rather than pawning off?
That was a bit silly now, in fairness. But most people don't do that, you know what I mean?
But the point I'm making is that it was obvious as the day is long that they got this thing years ago for their own wedding, didn't want it. It had been sitting in the sunlight for years. The box was gone out. Now, I don't know how. There must have been...
And then what did you do with it? Have you used it?
I was disgusted.
What did you do with it?
It's actually sitting in the sunlight, and we'll probably give it to somebody in a couple of years.
Well, there you go. I'll give it to give it to somebody that's going...
But the point I'm making is I found it so insulting that somebody wouldn't even bother their arse to put some thought into buying us a gift.
Nobody
puts.
But sure, Adrian, when I got married, you gave me a voucher. There was no thought put into that.
Yeah.
You gave me a voucher. What thought is put into vouchers? Re-gifting is absolutely no different than buying someone a voucher.
No, I don't agree with you at all.
It's the exact same.
At least with a voucher you can go and buy whatever you want. Call me right now on 6797981. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. I'd love to hear from you about re-gifting. Is there anything wrong with re-gifting? This message says, absolutely nothing wrong with re-gifting. Waste not, want not. If it's used, then no. But if it's not open, I don't see a problem with it, says that message.
And the Rain wants, she says, I'll take your dessert forks off you and your Mary Berry cookbook if you want to get rid of them. No, I don't want to get rid of them, Lorraine. I'm not giving them to you. I don't know you. And
then another message from Claire. This will show you how much of an issue. This woman does not want to go on air and admit publicly that I too have a re-gifting wardrobe.
Yes, I'm not the only one.
Would you like to come on air with us?
Okay.
No, I'd be too mortified to admit that.
Jesus, Claire, I just admitted and gave the whole stock. I did a stock take of it yesterday.
Karen, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Karen. Hello, Karen. Oh, we've lost Karen. We'll try and get her back in a moment. I'd like to hear from you. Here's a great message that we got. Wait till you hear this message that came into us a while ago. I got a wedding present from a well-known sports player's parents. Okay? So, well-known sports player. Parents are at the wedding. And it was a crystal vase.
Rory McIlroy.
Well, we don't know. How nice, a crystal vase. However, it actually had his name on it. It was an award that he got. And his man, Dad, gave it off as a wedding present.
Oh, for good. So he won like best golfer or something
Whatever,
like that.
yeah.
And kept the crystal and then gave it on as a present.
Gave it to his mum and dad. His mum and dad didn't even like it, and they pawned it off as a wedding present.
Well, no, that happened to us before. We pawned off engagement glasses. Everybody bought us bloody flutes when we got engaged.
Yeah.
And we didn't realise that one of the flutes we gave on to another couple who got engaged a year later had to Jer and Sue on the glasses.
You see, that's the point I'm making. Regifting is just a bad thing to do.
Somebody wants to know why don't Pasha Duleek, who can't come on the air because he's driving but he's able to text, says, why don't you do a gift shop show on 98 FM? That's not really where we're at, is it?
Well, if it saves you just flinging stuff into a wardrobe, well, then maybe it is.
I even bought my ex-wife a Christmas present. I wouldn't regift anything, says Kevin. Can we get Kevin on and find out why he did that?
I always regift, says this message. Everyone does. I have a regifting black bag under the stairs. But you have to label it before you put it in because you don't want to regift the present to the same person that gave it to you in the first place, says Dave. Well, now I have to be honest. When I heard that you have a regifting wardrobe and then to discover that other people have the same thing too,
There's loads of people listening now that are going, yeah, I have that wardrobe. Maybe not a wardrobe. In some places it could be a press.
Kevin.
Good morning, gents. How are you?
Hi, Kevin. How are you? What did you want to say?
I'm disgusted with you, Jeremy. I tell you, you've hit an all-time low. Oh, my God.
Having a regifting wardrobe.
But what should I do with 5 vases? Nobody needs...
Give them to charity.
What?
Give them to charity.
Yeah, drop them in Oxfam or...
Give them to charity. Look, I'm separate. I even bought my ex-wife a Christmas present. I wouldn't even re-gift something to her.
And where do you buy arsenic? Can you buy arsenic? Can you buy that in a shop now?
I'm only teasing. Look, Jeremy, give them away. They're just going to be... You spend too much time going through the things that you don't want and spending... Just go.
Well, no, the fact of the matter is, Kevin, with the secret...
You know the people, that you'll know what they want.
I know, but with this Secret Santa thing in work, I would have had to go out to the shop and spend 25 quid buying a present.
God help you.
Yeah, but when I already had a present that was just gathering dust in the wardrobe.
Yeah, but Secret Santa's about 10/15 euro, and you're giving them something that's costing a lot more. Do you not think they're going to realise? Hang on.
No, the fact of the matter is, the person that receives a gift never realises that they're going to.
Yeah, but they when they look at what they got, they're going to think, "Oh my God, I spent €10 on the person I got. Someone's had to buy me something worth about 50 quid."
No, but say somebody I know very well got a pair of M&S slippers off me last Christmas that were regifted. He was delighted. I know he was delighted with those M&S slippers, and he didn't know the difference. Never will know.
Hi, Adrian says this message. When my daughter was born, I received a gift from my neighbour, and it was a lovely photo book. Isn't that nice? That's a lovely gift to receive. But on the front page, it has her child's name on it.
Oh, it's one of those personalised books, is it? Here's another message. I don't have a wardrobe at home, but I do have a little press. There are 3 bottles of wine in it because I don't drink wine. What does Adrian suggest I should do with the wine? I can't bring it to a charity shop.
And one last message. If gifting to Jeremy, write on the packaging, for Jeremy Dixon only, not to be re-gifted. I think that's a great idea. Regifting is just not a thing.
Anyway, this Thursday is National Regifting Day, so make sure, take all the little tags off it, all the bits of sellotape, the whole lot.
That's it from us for today. Thanks very much indeed for listening. We're back with you again 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, and don't forget, Jeremy's going to be out and about, and you're not telling us where yet, but out giving away selection boxes tomorrow.
Yes, I will. So make sure you, first of all, you have to tune into the show, and also follow us on our Facebook page, where I'll be doing a Facebook Live video as I'm driving to the location.
Always. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Barry Dunn is on the way live from Dundrum Town Centre. And in the next hour, he's great music lined up, like these.
FM's Dublin Talks
with the Des Kelly Interiors gift voucher. The perfect present this Christmas.
98 FM.